COMMS by Coops, backed by popular demand. Oh, wow, bad driving. So welcome, guys. It is round 2 of the FRL Taco Tuesday league, which I've been very lucky driving. And as I said on Sunday on the live stream, this is in my opinion a whole other level in terms of the driving. So let me just make sure that we are live so that everybody can hear us. Just open that up. Copy that link. Just 1 second. Pop that in there. There we go. All done. Okay, so for those of you that are new to FRL, you know, we try and get involved, do as much live comms as we can. We have I do Sundays, and I'm also going to get involved and do the Tuesdays now as well. So I did give up my race seat, and to be honest, Michael was just really, really fast, and I didn't want to drive with him and get embarrassed, so I thought I'd do this instead. We tend to follow a format. So we look at the driver standings. Obviously, you guys are going to want to know who's in what teams and how that's going to shake out. But the other thing that we love to do, always, and I think is really valuable, is to have a driver interview. Yeah, featured driver for the week. So I'm going to port that over from the GT3 Sundays. And wow, we've got a very special guest today. Okay, I don't think anyone's ever heard his voice before. Maybe not even James. Yeah, this is how serious this is. We've got joining us the incredible Will Friedman. Will, you there?
Hello, everyone.
Hello, Will. Thank you for joining us this evening.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. So, in my time within FRL, you're a bit of a legend on the GT4s. I'll certainly say that. GT3s, do you prefer them, or is it the GT4s for you?
At first, when the game released, obviously I prefer the GT3 because there were only GT3 on this game. But once there was the DLC with GT4,
yeah.
I started to drive them, and I thought it was too slidey, maybe
yeah.
too much complicated, more than the GT3 actually. But after many practice, I finally decide that GT4 will be my favorite category.
I can tell. I think I can count. Well, I can't count actually the amount of times you've come past me in the GT4, putting me laps down. So thanks for that, Will. But that's all good. Well, I don't like the GT4s myself. But okay, so we are at Spa this evening. Favorite track of yours or not?
It's one of my favorite, but not with this car. I don't know the Nissan yet very well, so I'm not that fast. But I can down under the 280 with some cars. But tonight, I guess I'll be around the 220.
Yep.
Maybe 219 if I have chance, but I'm not sure.
Well, I think there's going to. I mean, you will know from last week at Imola, the pace is pretty intense in the tacos. It was last season as well. Maybe you should have a chat with Gamer Dad. I mean, he loves the Nissan. He might be able to give you some tips on how to make her go quicker. Who knows?
Yeah, but actually, I'm not fine with drivers' setups. I prefer to perform my own setups. So. Because I have a really cool driving. I'm really precise in. I don't want the car to be too twitchy. You know?
Yeah, I get it. So you know, I'm going to make it's a pretty lofty comparison though, but it's a bit Alan Prosty, isn't it? You know, you sound like you have the accent, Will, and he was a professor in a race car, wasn't he? He wanted it just perfect. So, hey, maybe you're going to be as good as him. Who knows?
Who knows? Yeah. I usually, for instance, I usually don't practice that much. I have no time with family, kids, work, etc. I just take the time, something like 30 minutes before each race to make some practice. But it's kind of hard when you discover a new car every season, because I like to change car every season.
Yeah.
I don't like to pick the fastest car every time.
Yeah.
This is what makes the game a longer life of the game, you know.
Yeah,
And
it's more interesting, isn't it? It's more of a challenge for you.
Yeah, always challenge. And sorry to everyone for my English. I'm not sure.
Oh, it's fine. It's perfect. Well, it's fine.
Because
Yeah.
you all know that I'm French, I think, and I'm self-taught. And I just learned English like 10 years ago. I started to learn English, browsing forums, watching videos, movies, and maybe I have too much French accent. I don't know.
No, it's perfect. To be fair, Will, it's a lot better than what I thought it was going to be. When you messaged me saying about, the English, I was thinking, oh my God, am I going to have to try and think of some French from when I was a kid? But no, you speak better English than a lot of English people, so don't worry about it.
Oh, thank you. But as long as you know how to say baguette in French, it's all fine.
I'm glad you said that. I was going to say something, but I thought I better not, just in case. Good. Okay. Listen, I really appreciate you coming on and being part of the show. And obviously, we're going to keep an eye on you tonight as the featured driver. Not too much, though. I do keep getting a bit of stick from people because when they're the featured driver, I seem to do a commentator's curse on them. So I'll try and do it sparingly, not just before you put it in a wall. Let's see if that helps. Yeah.
I just hope I won't crash tonight. I hope to do the best with my teammate crashes.
Well, you haven't got a bad teammate, have you? Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
You boys should be pretty strong. So anyway, I'll let you get back to what's left of practice. Best of luck for qualifying, and I hope you have a good result over the over the hour race.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, Will. Thank you. See you later.
Goodbye, everyone.
See you, Will. Wow, see, look, we are so multinational. We've had Americans, we've got Australians in, we've got, we had Rashid from Morocco, we've got Traction Dave from Newcastle. I mean, that's almost the whole of a country, him and Michael, they can't really speak English. And we've got Will Friedman from France. So, yeah, it's happening all over the globe, FRL domination. But anyway, let's get back to what's going on this evening. I know we were sat there looking at his car. There was a reason for that. I wanted you all to get that number 8 ingrained into your brains because that's actually my number. And when we started in FRL, Will, as we all know, loves numbers. Numbers. He's a spreadsheet genius. And he said to me, no, number 8's my number. And I... that hurt my feelings a little bit, but it's all right. And he loves his figures. We all know that Will loves his figures, as we've all seen in his special channel on the Discord. So, again, check that out if you haven't seen it recently. But we are in free practice currently. We've got just over 5.5 minutes left. Currently, we have a ambient track temp of 20 degrees and an on track of 27. That's pretty good. That should allow some fast laps. And Roka is currently the pace leader in the Bentley with a 2:19.3. So we've done our driver interview, which was awesome. I'm very, very, very appreciative to Will for doing that, as I am for all of you when you come on and do it. We do need to have a quick look at what happened last week. And anyone that's new or hasn't tuned into the Taco Tuesdays before, it is a different format to GT3 Sundays, as you would expect. We try and offer variety for everybody that races within FRL. You can find all that information on the website. It's updated almost minute by minute, really, formularacingligue.co.uk. So you can get the information on there. But the Tacos League runs, it's a 15-minute qualifying session, and then we have a full hour's race. But there is a mandatory stop, and you do have to take tyres for this stop. So some of the other series, it's open to interpretation. Whether you put fuel and tyres, or one or the other, or neither, or just a litre in. That's not the case in Tacos. So that element of strategy comes into it because you are going to be losing at least 30 seconds in your pit box at some stage. So keep an eye out for that. That'll be interesting. We have a short season, as everyone is aware. This is obviously leading up to the update. So in terms of the calendar, last week we had a 90-minute race at Imola, which was intense. Yeah, everyone that took part in that will agree, and anyone who watched will agree. And I took part in that race last week with Michael in the Ferrari, and it was a great spectacle. So we're at Spa today, then we're going to Zolder, Brands, Barcelona, Monza, and then Misano will be the last round on the 22nd of February, and that will also be a special event. So that will be a 230-minute jobby, similar to GT3 Sundays. So what happened last week? Well, it was double points last week, so the guys that did well did very well out of that. IR Graham, he leads the championship at the moment with 80 points. Will Friedman is in second place in the Nissan on 72 points, and then we've got DeWill in the Jag, or as friends of ours in the motoring world would say, the Jag, on 64 points. Crazies in the sister Nissan is fourth on 56 points, and then we've got GTJ is in fifth on 50 points. Michael Races is sixth on 44 points, and then we've got Euphoric State on 40 points in seventh place. Now, Euphoric State, this was looking at this earlier on today, looking at people that have checked in and thinking about who's in, who's out, and Euphoric State, I was looking at his name, and every time I look at him or hear people do comms on him, they're like euphoric or what, and everyone's like, can't pronounce what it is. And then I just looked at it, I did a handstand and looked at it upside down, and then thought U4IK ST8, Euphoric State. So I win the prize today, thanks very much. Bruges is in 8th on 36 points, closely followed by Reedy LFC, he's 9th on 28, and then we've got I Am Slow, the controller, that's what we'll call him, on 24 points in 10th, Marek Mariola in 11th on 20, and then Fresh Jinx in 12th on 16. Nathbit is Fresh's teammate, he's 13th on 14 points, and then we've got Tro in 14th, 12 points, GT Jamie on 10 points in 15th, Kagatako 16th on 6 points, and then Kevin, Joey, Lurches and Krishna all on 0 points. So that brings you guys up to date with the actual stand-ins. It's going to be so interesting tonight how these guys tackle this track. I mean, you've got, I can't even begin to talk really too much about the standard of driving in here. I know we've got a chap watching who I think would sit in very, very nicely in this particular league. JR's in, Lock and Load, our GT3 Sunday champion, reigning champion. He's in on the live chat. So hello JR, hope you're well. And I think he would enjoy this one, definitely. And Georgie Priest is in as well. Hello Georgie. Cheers to all the drivers and good luck. So it's all good. It's fantastic. We will run a competition tonight, as we do on a Sunday. I think it's always good to do that. Let's have a look at the driver check-in just before it clicks over onto qualifying. And then obviously we're going to see these guys make their last tweaks and actually get out there and do some fast laps. So in terms of the actual teams, let's just grab those. So obviously it's a new season, second race in. So we've got PSR, they were in the Audi, that's I Am Slow, aka the controller, and GTJ. The Ambitious, what a great name that is, in the Nissan, that's Will Friedman and Crazies. Gabble Motorsport is Bruges and Riker, and they're running in the Aston. Overdose Racing in the McLaren, we've got GT Jamie and Lurches. And then in the Porsche, we've got Taco Racing, which is Euphoric State and Kagatacos. Fresh Sim Racing in the Lexus, two newbies, and that's Jinx and Nathbit. North-South Racing in the Ferrari, that was previously M&M Racing, so that's Michael Races and his new teammate. Best of luck to Kevin. AMR team in the Aston, we've got Tro and Marek. And then Zingre Racing I think we all need to watch out for IR Graham and Reedy in the Merc, and CRT Black Cats. We've got DeWill and Krishna in the Jag. So we've got a lot of people. We've got a lot of good people out there at the moment. So who's first out? I believe Will is the first one out. So we'll keep an eye on him. Let's change that over. Let's just have a little look. And he's gone out, I believe, with his teammate. Very nice. So we're just in the wait time for free practice at the moment, before we move into the 15 minutes of qualifying. So we do have 3 people not available this evening, which is really unfortunate. So Marek can't be with us tonight. Lurchies has had some major technical issues. I think his broadband router's just blown up. I mean, it's not working at all, and Krishna can't be with us either tonight. So we do have a couple of chaps standing in, as we always do. There's always many people sat in reserve who just want a piece of the action. I'll give you their names in a moment. So Crazies is first out the bag. Let's keep an eye on him. So in terms of who's sitting in, Kino, DJ, he's sitting in the Ferrari in the 177. Pony Feeder is also sitting in. He's also in a Ferrari in the 115. And then Tomoshu is sitting in the Porsche number 787. So it's a great chance for these 3 to show what they can do and mix it with the big boys. And who knows? You know, they may be in the pack, they may be at the front. We will certainly find out. Of course, we will also do a full track guide as we're going through qualifying. But as Crazies is warming up for his fast lap, let's change camera angle on that. Competition time, guys. Every Sunday I run a competition. We're going to do it on a Tuesday as well. So the prize for the competition, as it is every week, is a completely free setup for any car, any track of your choice. Okay, so if you've got a race coming up and you want something different, you want to try something else out, get involved in the competition, and that's a surefire way of you to win the race, obviously. So today's question, bearing in mind this is Taco Tuesday, right? Here's the question: what was the name of the first official taco? Okay, so you're all going to be scrambling on Google now. What was the name of the first official taco? Okay, so obviously I've done my research. I know when tacos were made and discovered and where this was and how it all came about and all the ingredients. And I could go and make one right now, but I'm asking you guys for your input. What was the name of the first one? Okay, as Crazies comes through the bus stop and he is about to embark on his first flying lap. So we'll have a little look at that, shall we? Let's change camera on that. As he's coming down into the source, which is a fairly tight right-hand hairpin. It's good to get out onto the outside of the track there to get the power down early, and then we're going to hug the wall on the right-hand side as we come up to a Rouge and Radion. And let's be brave, let's straddle that curb on the left. We don't want to take too much on the right-hand side, then we want to straddle the one on the left straight away, not taking too much. He's just about got away with that in terms of track limits. Then we're going to move across onto the left-hand side, all the way down the Camel Straight. Everyone loves the Camel Straight, unless you've ridden a Janetta, probably. Obviously, you wouldn't be in this race. Hard on the brakes, down to second into Lacombe. We're going to keep it tight there, back off slightly. We're not going to get on the power too hard, and then we're going to drop it up into third. He's already sat in third, on the way down to Bruxelles, which is a really awkward right-hander. I'm normally in first gear in the Ferrari here, and you just got to wait and wait and wait. Squeeze the power on as we go through No Name. Again, so we had a quick downshift there to second, then back up to third. In the run down to Puon, which is an amazing corner, we're going to look on the right-hand side for an orange, bit of orange painted fence there, which is your brake marker. Drop it down a gear or two. And then we're going to run up to Campus under the bridge on the brakes, down to third. Balance the car, a little bit of throttle, off the throttle again. As soon as you hit that grey bit on the left hand side, we're going to push it and we're going to go as wide as possible as we come into Staulo 1. I know I've said this before on comms, but that corner there, you've really got to trail into there to get a good exit out. And then we get the long run up through Blanchimont. Again, really quick part of the circuit here. So, you know, the thing I love about Spa, there's parts of the track that will suit one car and parts of the track that will suit another. Let's be brave. Did not lift. Nice. And as we do the run up to the bus stop chicane, where that line is on the road there, slam the anchors on, get it down into first, trail in there, off the brakes now, get it turned in, and then squeeze on the throttle, nice and wide, not too much though. And then that is a lap of Spa. So, Crazy's goes pole at the moment. I'm sure he'll want to do a faster lap than that, or maybe do a second one. So we'll come away from him for a moment. So that's the benchmark, guys, for everyone at the moment. Okay, so Nathbit in the Lexus is 0.3 down. So current pole is a 220.7. Okay, but there we go. Michael's just banged in a 219 flat in the Ferrari. Thank you, Michael. No problem for the setup. Yeah, I think we should see if he can go any quicker. GT Jamie, that's a nice showing in the McLaren. He's dropped that in there. And Will's currently in 4th place. So let's go on board with Michael. Let's just see the comparisons between the cars. See how different they are. And already you can see that Nissan that was on with Crazy seemed very compliant. She wasn't too sketchy. I think you watch this lap, yeah, you're going to see a big difference. So hard on the brakes, down to second, into Lacombe. She always wants to spin about now. See how gentle, nice and gentle with the power. I would have been up into 3rd then, and then we're going to do the run down towards Brazil's. Down into 1st, get her turned in. He's going to drop that into 2nd, there we go. Stop the wheel spin and the traction coming out of there. Hook her in left, get on the power nice and early, watch the back end. She will want to step on you there. He's 0.4 up on his time at the moment as we're coming down towards Pouhon. Again, on the right hand side, that orange painted bit. Use that as your brake marker. That's going wide, that's going to invalidate that lap. That's unlucky, Michael. Commentator's curse, no doubt. Riker in the Bentley's done a 2:18.9. Okay. Very nice, Riker. Very, very nice. I did say the other day, actually, that's a lovely red livery as well. He seems pretty rapid from what I'd seen in a previous race. Let's just have a quick look on the live chat. Traction's in. Hey Cooper, good luck to all the drivers making up Eau Rouge in one piece. Yes, let's hope they do, Traction. That's very kind of you to say so, mate. Traction, if you didn't get the question for the setup, it is, can you name me the first official taco? What was it called? That's the competition we're running today. So Riker's a 2:18.9 at the moment. Michael's dropped it in the pits. IR Graham is half a second down on Riker in the Mercedes, which I would expect him to want to close that on. We're just halfway through qualifying now. GT Jamie is currently sat in 4th. I am slow. The controller is in 5th. He's not far behind Jamie there, a few thousandths, as IR Graham pulls away. So Will in the Jag. Let's have a look at the Jag. Everyone loves the Jag, don't they? I mean, look at that. A bronze Jag. If you call that copper. Let's call it copper. Oh, okay. Okay, so I thought, guys, okay, stop the press, everyone. Stop the press. I thought that was a brilliant question because it was Taco Tuesdays, yeah, and I thought that might get some people thinking for a while. Evidently, we've got some clever people in the chat who have not gone and asked their Mexican granddad, you know, down the family tree what it was called, but they've gone on to Google. So, Traction Dave says Taco di Minero, and at exactly the same time, so does Georgie Priest. So, you are both correct, well done. It is the Taco di Minero, and you can both have a setup for that one because you sent it through at the same time. So congratulations, free setup, free car, free track, whatever you want. Ping me a DM on Discord and I will get that over to you tomorrow, no problems at all. But yeah, so the story behind that, just in case you want to know, as it's Taco Tuesdays, was the silver, the miners in Mexico who were mining for silver. Obviously they needed to eat down there, and they created this thing, and they called it the Taco de Minero, the miners' taco. There you go. get me on the chase. Anyway, back to this. So Riker is still leading that one. Michael's still in second. I've got to say, I do really like that. I do really like that Jag. Let's see what she sounds like. Oh, she sounds mean. She's definitely going to be a handful though. But hey, DeWill's an expert. Anything with four wheels, DeWill's pretty handy in. So. Traction and Georgie seem pretty happy with winning that. Yeah, well done, boys. It's all good. In fact, that is what I'm going to do at the end of the season. I'm going to put together a video, because you all like these videos. I'm going to put together a video at the end of the season with all of the questions and all the winners, and then we could do like a winner's winner. Yeah, I could get everyone that's won and ask you all a question. Do something like that. It's a bit different. So what car is going to favour this track the most? What do we think? Well, we know the Merc's pretty handy around here. I have to say the Ferrari, she is very good. If you can keep her under control in certain points, the Ferrari is very, very quick round here. We all know the Bentley's quick. Bentley's quick wherever we go. But that's also the beauty of the Taco Tuesdays. Look at the split we've got on the grid. We've got Bentley, Ferrari, Merc, Audi, Jag, McLaren, Lexus, Porsche, Aston. Yeah, so I think we tried to do something for this season so that we didn't end up with 20 Bentleys, for instance, you know, or some kind, you know, a more unfair split, which I think has gone down pretty well with the drivers, and is going to make for some really, really entertaining races, because different car and track combos, you know, one's quick at one, or one's not so quick at the other. That will come to the fore. So we've got just 3 minutes 40 seconds left at the moment. We're going to come off the Jag. Okay, so Michael is 3/10 down. Is Reiku back out? He is back out. Is he on a hot lap though? Let me come off him. No, he's not. Okay, let's see what Michael's going to do. Kino is done. Kino's currently sat in 5th place in his Ferrari. That is a good showing, bearing in mind Kino's a reserve jumping in tonight, so that's excellent from him. DeWill's in 6th. I am slow, put himself in the pits, and Michael with that last lap is now just over a 10th behind Raker. Could be a grandstand finish to qualifying everyone. GT Jamie is currently in 9th, and then Nathbit is in 10th. Crazy sits in 11th currently. He will definitely want to improve on that. And then Nathbit's teammate Jinx, he's currently in 12th. Bruges just put a time in, he's gone up to 10th. And then Kevin, he has popped a time in, that's Michael's teammate in All South Racing. He's currently 14th, 3.7 seconds off the pace. And then you've got Reedy in 15th. Kagatako's has stuck a time in, that looks like a banker to me. And then Tro looks like he's also put a banker in, and he's currently sat in the pits. So Pony Feeder, Euphoric State in Tomoshu have not set times as yet. Riker's increased his lead there. He's just done a 2:18.5. That is some rapid pace. I mean, the temperatures are perfect for it, 18 and 24. But that is rapid. So we're just having a look at Pony Feeder in his Ferrari. I like that livery. I like the blues. See how he's getting on. So Riker's put it into the pits. Michael's still out, so Michael knows he doesn't have long left if he wants to try and snatch that pole position away. GTJ, he's put it in the pits as well. GTJ's, his form's like, I mean, I assume he prefers GT3s to GT4s, because, I mean, he's come on a lot recently between those two divisions. Although he did mention that he'd upgraded some equipment as well, so fair play to him. And no doubt it will make all the difference in terms of what you do and don't feel on the track. IR Graham's currently in 4th. I don't think Graham's going to be too pleased with that, to be fair. Graham's a stalwart in this competition, and he's normally, well, it's normally number one, to be fair to him. Keno's got to be happy. He's only a second off the pace, and obviously when we get the race underway, you know, everybody finding through a Rouge, Radion, and then up the Camel Straight, positions aren't going to change, and I hope everybody survives. Right, ponies, this must be the lap that he's going to set. So Timoshu in the Porsche is 7.5 seconds down currently. And we do also, remember guys, we do also have our Tier 2 races taking place at exactly the same time. So I'm sure there'll be some action from that either on the driver streams. If you're subscribed to any of those guys, if you want to have a look at them, or on the FRL channel itself. You can have a look at that on YouTube as well. Not that I want you to go anywhere, because this is going to be epic. So qualifying is over. We are now in a position where everybody is going to complete the lap they are on. So Michael, obviously, he decides he's going to nick pole. Graham's the only guy that could take that. Wow, Michael, well done. So a 2:18.3 rapid from Michael. It's just a 1/10.5 quicker than Raker. Graham, no, he's put it in the pits. That's not going to work for him. Let's have a look at Will, our featured driver. Let's see if he can improve. So currently your top three is Michael, Raker, and IR Graham. GTJ's in fourth. Keno, that's a great bit of work from him to be currently in fifth place. And Bruges, that's a quick time from Bruges as well. He's moved himself up from 10th to 6th, which is good to see. Will's currently in 7th. He can only move up from there. I don't think he's going to go down any. GT Jamie's in 8th, with DeWill in 9th, and then over the controller, we know who he is, in 10th. Crazies is off the pace there. He won't thank me for saying that, but it's testament to normally how fast he is. He's currently in 11th. Mathbit in 12th. Pony Feeder, okay, so we did pop a couple of laps in there, has moved up to 13th in his Ferrari. Jinx is in 14th. Kevin, in his debut, is currently 16th. Euphoric State's just moved up a couple of places up to 14th, so well done to him. And then you've got Reedy. Kaga's still out. Let's see what Kaga can do. Will's going to cross the line. Is he going to move up from 7th? No, he's not. So, Kaga could potentially move up a place or two. Let's see what he does. He does, I believe, move up a place or two. So there we go. Qualifying complete. Blimey. I tell you, last week when we did the Imola race last week, the 90 minutes, Michael was saying on the live stream, he was like, he's never had to concentrate so much in his entire life, and was absolutely sweating buckets. And I concur. You know, these boys, they're all going to be working very hard. If anyone hasn't seen JR Lock and Loads or JR Sim Racing's sort of highlights reel from the last few races, go and have a look at his YouTube channel. And he made the point in there of saying he had to work every week. Now, I don't doubt he had to work every week. He was always the favourite and always had the pace. He was the benchmark for everybody. He'd be working in here. I really think he would be. The pace over here is his pace, and you've just got to look at who's in there. So Michael, we know he's quick. Raker's a new guy who's evidently rapid. Graham's normally up there in first place. GTJ is quick. Keno, I don't know anything about Keno yet, but that's an excellent start to his legacy, shall you say, with FRL. Bruges is always quick. Will's a multiple-time champion. Jamie's quick. DeWill's multiple champion. I Am Slow is the fastest guy with a controller on the planet, probably. Let's put that challenge out there for someone. Crazy's 6-time champion. Mathbit was quick last week. Pony Feeder was also quick. Euphoric State, well, I'm sure he's quick. Has a great coded name. Kaga's always in there as well, and you got to say, you know, Jinx, Kevin, Reedy, Tro, and Timoshu, we're not sure on their pace yet, but they're not going to be slow. So it's all to play for, really. I'm going to go on with Graham, IR Graham for the start, just so we can get a good look right at the front and then in the back behind. I'm not gonna go on to Will. I'm really conscious of the commentator's curse, so I'm really gonna try not to do that to him tonight, because I had enough messages on Sunday evening from Traction Dave, and I don't want to make people's lives miserable. But there we go. So again, we are a couple of minutes away from the formation lap. We will have a full formation lap, and I will run through the lap as we go around. If any of you are not familiar with that, I'm sure you all are. And then we'll discuss the connotations and what we think. I mean, Bentley and the Ferrari, Audi, Merc, and then we've got another Bentley and a Ferrari, then we've got the Macca and the Nissan and the Jag and the Lexus. It's so mixed up. It's gonna be a lesson for all of us, this one. So just whilst we're waiting, I just wanted to do a little plug, really. Obviously, we're doing a lot of comms at the moment. No doubt you'll all have seen lots of things coming out on my YouTube on me pretending to make videos and, you know, messing things up. I've never done this before, so it's all a learning curve, but I'm having a great time doing it. We're all bouncing ideas off each other in the Discord on how we can put together some pretty cool things to share, you know, with our sim racing community and the wider community. But you're obviously on the channel now. Comms by Coops. Says what it is. That's what I'm going to focus on, bringing you guys the action, getting you guys to understand and get to know the drivers and the different nationalities and how they all think. And, you know, like Will's not interested in other people's setups. He likes to figure it out on his own, which is great. Me, I don't care. Just give me a setup. I'm not really that way minded. Whereas Timmy Blunder, for instance, he'd sit there all day looking at every tiny bit of every minute detail on how he can try and change things, and that's what makes it unique. We're all different in that respect. So formation lap is underway. As we can see, we're all a single file at the moment as I make the way up Eau Rouge and Raidillon. Don't really want to see people driving through each other. I think we got that really nailed nicely on a Sunday at the moment, so let's see if they follow suit. Yeah, everyone's behaving themselves so far, which is good. Right, predictions. Anyone that's watching the stream at the moment, what do you think? Let me know. Let me know what your favourite car is around here. Be good to talk about that and why. Down the Camel Straight they go into Lacombe. We've got to be really gentle through there. Obviously they're not at speed now, guys. If anyone's just joining in and thinking, why are these guys going so slow? This is the formation lap. And the last opportunity for these guys. Let's get some temperature into those tyres. Let's get some temp into those brakes. But not overdo it. You don't want those brakes fading on you, especially not in the run down towards Eau Rouge or at the end of the Camel Straight on lap 1. So we've also got to think about potential strategies here. Myself, when I was doing tacos, I did do some experimenting with that. So sometimes I would go half-half. Other times I'd go for a short sprint, so 20 minutes, and then duck in for a longer sprint after that. Or sometimes I'd do it the opposite way around. I'd go 40-45 minutes and then hope that other people had worn their tyres out at that point, and you know, we're getting a bit squirrely, and then jump in and get some fresh rubber on. So there's plenty of ways that you can get around this. Hutch is on. Hello, Hutch. Hutch says Michael races for the win. That might not be a bad shout, Hutch. As is Georgie Priest. So Michael is getting a little fan club, which won't please Traction Dave, who's also watching. Well, Traction Dave, he's dedicated. I mean, he's at work at the moment. He's beavering away. He's an engineer, so you know he spends all his time using his brain and making really cool stuff for us all to use every day, or important things. And He's there watching this, probably should be working, and his mate Michael's sat at the front of the field, but he will be there. Yeah. Everyone's just taking their time, no rush. Let's get everything up to temperature. See, Michael's getting an old hand at this now. I think this is the third time Michael's been on pole, twice in the last 2 days, I'll have you know. So he's in good form at the moment. I bet Georgie Priest wishes he was in this race as well. And you, Hutch. I kept 7th place free for you, Hutch. Let's see. Not long to go now, so an hour's race, 1 mandatory pit stop. You must change tyres on the pit stop. Okay, so again, other series, it's open to interpretation. You can figure your strategy out as you want, splash and dash, full fuel, whatever it is. But in this one, you must do a mandatory stop and change tyres. So that will come into play as they come through the bus stop. They'll have their run down to the source. They're all forming up now, 2 by 2. Traction says he thinks Riker's going to win. Graham second, GTJ third. Michael's got to lose it at Rouge because he's pretty unstable there. Well, yeah, never know. Never know, guys. Here we go then. Here we go. It's what we've been waiting for. It's the start of the 60 minutes of Spa. There's a little bit of a spurt there from Riker. And they wait. And they wait. And they wait. And they're ready. They're waiting. They're checking everything. They're nervous. They're thinking, oh my God, am I going to get up this hill? Am I going to survive? And off they go. The power is coming out of those vehicles. Down they go into Eau Rouge. Michael's got a good run there. He's got the inside line. Graham's got a good move done there as well. Okay, so they've all survived at the top of the hill, which is good news for them. And they're now on the run down the Kemmel Straight. Michael's got Graham all over him. He's probably going to need to go defensive. They're going to need to think about the tyre temps. They're going to need to think about what fuel levels they've got on board in terms of braking points. Riker, yeah, he got through there nicely. Michael still in second. Graham looked like he had a little bit of a love tap then. So obviously we need these things to update, but I do believe that I Am Slow is currently in 4th place. So he's taken a couple of places at the start there. And then Bruges, I think Bruges is in 6th at the moment. So we'll just wait for all this to update. Let's have a look a bit further down. There's Kino in his Ferrari. He's right in the middle of that pack. Look how close everybody is at the moment. Very, very close. So Riker has pulled a little bit of a gap. It's not a huge gap, but he's got a bit of breathing space. Michael has done the same to Graham. And then GTJ is actually in 5th. So I Am Slow, unfortunately, is in the pits. I didn't see an accident there. He is in the pits, you can see him there. So maybe he's had an issue. I know he was saying the internet wasn't massively great where he was at that moment in time. So maybe he's had some lag issues and he's had a disconnect. I don't know. He's still in the server, but let's hope he can get out. So GTJ is putting some good pressure on IR Graham there, closely followed by Bruges. And then there's our star man, Will Friedman, in 6th place. He's half a second behind Bruges, just keeping a watching brief at the moment. And GT Jamie is up to 7th. That is nice. Kino. There's Kino in the McLaren. I like the look of that. It's a good livery on there. Nafbit looks like he's having a battle there with DeWill in the Jag. And Euphoric State has got a run. So what's Nafbit going to do? He's got to defend the outside and he's got to defend the inside. He's got to pick that spot nicely, place the car. He does. DeWill fancies a go, but Euphoric State at the moment, he's got the run. He's going to tuck it inside to that wall. I can't see DeWill going down the inside. No, he doesn't Do they all make it up the top? They do, and we've got someone off there. Who's that off? That's an Audi. Is that GTJ? It is GTJ. He's had an off in Eau Rouge. We know they're all a bit sketchy through there. So Will's currently got himself up to 6th. He's looking to put up to 5th, sorry, obviously with that issue there. But he's just gone off track, managed to keep it back on, but he's now coming under attack from GT Jamie in the McLaren, so he's going to want to make an impression. And further down the field, let's have a quick look at the top. So Riker's still leading, 7.5 tenths from Michael. That looks pretty solid. And then we've got 1.6 back to Graham. Similar gap back to Bruges. You've run slightly wide, but that's okay through No Name. It's fine. And then we've got Will. Okay, Pony Feeder's doing pretty well. He's got himself up to 11th, but Crazies is currently all over the back of him. Closest battle on track at the moment. Oh, Pony Feeder coming into Pouon. He's know exactly what's happened there, because it's happened to me a million times in the Ferrari. As you go in there and someone's turned around, that's another Ferrari. So it looks like Kino's done exactly the same thing. So when you're going through Pouon in the Ferrari, and we've got another off there as well, that's Euphoric State. So it's getting a bit juicy at the moment. People have settled in for a lap, and now they're trying to push it. Maybe people should just hold off a tad and then have a look at making a move somewhere. But yes, as I was saying, just have a look at the quick times. Okay, DeWill. Okay, let's have a look at this one. So DeWill is coming up onto the back of Nathbit. Looks like they're going through Blanchimont there, up towards the bus stop. Is he going to try a move on the brakes? Don't think he's close enough to do that there. No, he's not. And then behind them you've got 3 cars all coming in nice and hot there. So you've got Kevin, Euphoric State and Crazies. They're pretty close. And GTJ, well, he wants to catch up. Obviously he had that spin in Eau Rouge, and so we know he's got pace. He was running 4th, so he wants to try and make up some places, thinking about himself, thinking about the points. But boys, don't panic. It's an hour race. Don't panic. Get into your groove, find that rhythm, and let the race come to you, as they like to say. So no change up at the top. I was saying about the Ferrari in particular down at Pouon. So when you're dropping it down a gear, I always drop it down 2 gears into 3rd there, because it just gives me a little bit more control on the turning. But the back end, if you don't balance out throttle at the same time, that back end goes very, very light on you. And the Ferrari, she is completely unforgiving. Completely unforgiving. So it looks like DeWill. So Nathbit's had an issue there in Lacombe. Probably the same sort of thing on the left-hand part. It's probably got on the gas a little bit too early, which has made the back end step out on him, which has allowed DeWill to get in front. So he's doing an excellent job so far in the Jag. Quick look on the chat. Imina up to 2nd. Okay, you can report it and see what the stewards think. Hey? Need one of your start. Oh yeah, Dave, yeah. So Dave and Traction Dave and Hutch are having their own little chat in live chat, which is fantastic, guys. I love it. And they're talking about what happened at the last race and at Bathurst. But yeah, it's all good. If you haven't seen that, look on the channel. Obviously there's live comms on there. You can see all the action. So Michael is currently running in 2nd place still, 2.5 seconds behind Raker. So he's stretching his legs a little bit now. The stability on that Bentley is obviously showing. Graham is still in 3rd place. He's a further 2.2 behind, but Bruges is making inroads. Bruges is under a second now. Again, I think in terms of the stability of that Bentley, these guys are probably just settling into a rhythm. So he's starting to make some headway. Will's doing really well. He's worked his way up the field. He's currently in 5th. GT Jamie behind him in the McLaren, less than 8 tenths behind. And then we've got DeWill Crazies. Well, he was 11th. He's now up to 8th, so he's making some headway, which is good. I'm sure he'll appreciate a little bit of airtime, or not, in case he spins it, but he won't. And then, but again, you've got Nathbit, Euphoric State, and GTJ are all right behind him. I do want to move away and look at some other fights, but I've got to stick on this one, guys. I have to stick on this one. So I'm going to go on board and see what it looks like on the rundown, nice and close. Eau Rouge Radeon. See what the Porsche is like through here. Let's look at those inputs. Little feather there. Okay, that was nicely done by Euphoric State. It's got a good run on the Lexus, but that Lexus is no slouch, as we know. maybe look to get in the toe and put a move down the inside into Lacoon, but he's got to be careful with the aero balance on that Porsche. He's going to go light. Let's see. Yeah, nice and safe through there. Squeeze that power on. I can't emphasize enough, when you're driving these cars, it's ridiculous how real it does feel. And when you're in a situation like this in a very competitive league, one little mistake and you are massively punished. It could be race ending, just a little mistake. You can drop 4 or 5 positions and that's it. You don't get any freebies in this league, which is awesome. Okay, let's come away from that for a second. So close, aren't they? We'll just stay on there, let's have a look at that. So no change there on those gaps. Graham's moved down a little bit more. A euphoric state as I come away from him. Looks like he's had an off there, which has allowed GTJ to get all over the back of him. As they're coming through Stavilo, he's going to get a run on him. If he just keeps that tight, and there we go. Unfortunately, euphoric state's gone completely off the track there. So he thought, you know, his foot was in there and he wasn't bringing that out. So we're going to have a move into the bus stop. Is it going to happen? Oh, and they've touched. Okay, that'll be interesting to see. And so both of them have ended up off. GTJ has fortunately kept it running there, and euphoric, he looks like he's kept it running, but he's probably got quite a bit of damage. So early pit stop, and GTJ does exactly that. Okay, wise move. We are fairly similar in terms of gaps at the top of the field. So let's have a look at the further back down the field. So Kagatako's. So let's have a look at Kevin. So Kevin's currently running in 10th place in his 777 Ferrari. So I'm sure he's going to be happy with getting some good run time in there. And then Jinx is behind him. He's quite a distance behind. Kagatako's has obviously been promoted a place or two. And he's running in the Porsche. So he's Euphoric State's teammate. GTJ's in the pits. Tomoshu, there we go. Let's have a look at Tomoshu. We haven't had a look at him at all yet, or her. I mean, I don't know. I'm not saying because it's pink it's a her, because Gamer Dad has a pink car, and he's not a girl. So they tell me. Wow, he's a dad. He can't be, can he? So, yeah. So Tomoshu, first time in with us. So welcome in the 787 Porsche. How is she handling? And then Tro and Kino are just behind. I am going to look at those two as well. I always try to give everybody a bit of airtime. Go on a different view so we can see those behind as well. Get more than one in the shot. They're pretty close behind, aren't they? Keep an eye on the doubter on those as they come through. No name. Tro went wide there at the back there, and that has allowed Kino to move right onto him. We have to have a quick look at that, guys. Tomoshu, you're doing very, very well as we have a look, and Tro manages to keep ahead. I think there was a slight switch there, not a full overtake, but Tro's managed to keep that one. Kino wants that spot. Remember, Kino qualified up in 5th, and obviously had an issue earlier on in the race. We do have someone off, so Pony Feeder, he's had an off and ported to the pits. Keep an eye on that for later on. And Kino's still doing his battles with Tro. Now, Tro, Paul Trotman, won our competition a couple of weeks ago, and I've raced with Paul and had some very good racing with him actually. So he's a good driver. Kino's a good driver. He wouldn't have qualified 5th, so he's got pace, as is Reedy. So again, in terms of the field, there's no weak point in there. And at the front, Raikkonen, he is 2.7 seconds out in front at the moment, in front of Michael. I think Michael will probably be quite content. We don't know what strategies these guys are running, and he can certainly still see him, so there's nothing to panic about there. IR Graham, who's that? That's GTJ who's just come out of the pits there, so IR Graham's just made his way past him. So Bruges just dropped off. Remember, Bruges was sort of 8, 9 tenths behind him, so he's now 1.4 almost. So IR Graham's either squeezed that out a little bit, or Bruges has just dropped it off. Will still sat there in 5th place, just keeping a watching brief as Bruges is trying to negotiate GTJ. He's probably going to get blue flagged. Yeah, you can see the blue flags in the background there. So let's see what goes on with that. We do have someone off the track. What's that? 826 is Reedy. He's gone off. We'll go and have a look at him. That's Through Rouge on the track map there. So he's obviously had an issue at the top of the hill. Bruges, he wants to get past, doesn't he? And is that Kevin? No, it's not Kevin. So that must be Pony Feeder. No, it's not Pony. That must be Michael. Interesting. Okay, so Michael's had an off. Because Michael's now behind Bruges. We missed that one, unfortunately, because I was giving everybody their airtime. But that's okay. So Michael's going to be a bit frustrated. Might be a tyre wear issue. It might have been that the car got a little bit light on him. Who knows? We'll find out later on. So that means IR Graham is now up into second place. Bruges in third, and Michael's half a second behind him. So we'll keep an eye on this battle because Michael 100% is going to want this place back. Bruges was left out. Don't know. Okay, don't know if there was a little bit of movement there. A little bit too much movement maybe. And Will sniffing the podium in fifth place. And GT Jamie and Will. So GT Jamie has obviously just got past GTJ, not to confuse everybody. Crazies is currently still sat in 8th place, so he's plodding away, making that progress. And then Nathbit is in 10th. So Michael's 4 tenths. We're going to have a look at this down the hill. Definitely going to have a run on this one. Let's go and have a look. Can't miss this one as he pulls out. Bruges comes across slightly. Michael's just got to hold his line there, get the braking zone right. Nice and steady. Nicely done. So Michael makes the pass stick, gets himself back up onto the podium. Sure, he'll be happy with that. Traction, if you're watching still, mate, did you see what happened with Michael? I don't expect you to be at work with 17 screens, obviously, but it would be good to know, maybe. Bruges is trying to chase him down. And Kino. So Kino looks like he's got ahead of Tro. Stick on Bruges. Just the difference in the noise. The difference in the feel. It's bonkers. He's running 3 on the traction control. I wonder what JR would be running on here. Normally likes to run it slightly higher. In fact, also, if anyone didn't catch this thing, JR gave out a great piece of information earlier on with regards to the Merc to run it on traction 9 because it's a bug within the PlayStation, so it gives you the same effect as running it on 1 but doesn't wreck your tyres. I heard it, mate, and I'll take that advice going forward. So Raker's still in the lead. Graham's 8.3 behind him. Michael's in second. He's pulling out a gap now on Bruges. Will is currently still sat in 5th place, so he's doing a sterling job there. And Reedy's dropped into the pits. Pony Feeder, I think, well, he's 4 laps down now, so either he had a hell of a lot of damage and he's going to let that go. You've got 44 minutes left, so I would hope he would come back out. Reedy's also in there at the moment. So closest battle at the moment is actually Crazies. Well, it's not. He did say it was, but it's actually not. Kagatacos is in 12th place. He's chasing down Fresh Jinx, as you can see. So this, I believe, apart from Bruges trying to get back on terms of Michael, is the closest battle we've got on track. So let's keep a little eye on that one. Let's be fair, give everyone their time. There's Fresh Jinx in the Lexus. Wow, Kaga's... Well, I mean, my heart jumped then, so I don't know what was happening with Fresh Jinx, because Kagatacos was so late on the brakes there, down into La Source, so evidently he can be in that Porsche, or Fresh Jinx was early on the brakes, but I was foreseeing something happening there. Thankfully it didn't, as they both go over the top of the hill onto the Camel Straight. Is he close enough to get a run? So everyone up the top end of the field, as you can see, are coming down towards Puyon on the mini-map. That all looks pretty clear. I'm going to just jump on with Michael and see if this was where he had an issue before through there. No, that's nice and tidy. So no issues there. So GTJ is now running to the end. So obviously you can see in terms of the timing screens, anything sort of golden with a 1 in it means they have a stop to complete. Anything with a green next to their number means they have completed their mandatory stop and are then free to race to the end. As Tro comes into the pits in the Aston. What a nice little burble that is. Tomoshu is still going. He's in 14th place still. So he's getting some good time, or she's getting some good time. I don't know. I assume it's a he. Don't shoot me anyone. Kino's in 13th place still. Kagatako's, he's been enjoying that 12th place. Him and Fresh Jinx are having a nice battle, aren't they? I'm going to have a look at Crazies and DeWill in a minute, but again, Kaga is definitely better on the brakes, it would seem. Fresh Jinx pushed himself really wide there, and you can see the line that Kaga took, it was tighter, so he would have carried more speed through there. I think you know what we need to do, because of the move that happened in the last one, is get on board. But look, I mean, the speed on that Lexus, she is so rapid, but that's a mistake. Alright, Kaga, what's he going to do? Just watch those braking inputs. Watch. Get on the power, and he's on the power. So we have a challenge. We have side-by-side challenge down into the source. Kagatako's wants that 11th place. Jinx does not want to let that one go. Onto the brakes they go. He's looking to squeeze through the inside. I thought Kaga was going to go wide then and try and do a switchback, but probably just allowed Jinx to see that movement happening and just squeeze himself across to the left-hand side, across the apex, so there was no room for him. Wow, okay, I've never seen a down change before through Eau Rouge. I thought that was going to split the car out completely. You're a braver man than me, that's all I'm going to say. So, Guy Graham's closed up by a second onto Raker at the top. Michael is still third. He's now pulled a 2.5 second gap on Bruges. So that looks pretty safe at the moment. Michael just needs to start plugging away. Sure, he wants that second place back. Will's closer, is 1.2 seconds behind Bruges, and then you've got DeWill in 6th, and Crazies is now up to 7th place, so well done Crazies, chasing down the Jag. And the thing is, you've also got to remember a lot of these guys, I know we do have some new people in, which is great, and hence that's why we're now opening multiple tiers and, you know, extra servers, you know, practice servers dedicated to just one of the series, so it shows you the amount of numbers that are coming in and needing that. But a lot of these guys race regularly during the week and know each other well in terms of their racecraft and, you know, are they aggressive? You know, are they the type of driver who's going to give you enough room? Are they going to get their elbows out? So again, it makes for great, it's the beauty of the league and the community. Once you get involved with it, it will just snowball. It will. Who needs to be married anyway when you've got racing every night of the week? That's all I'm saying. A quick look at the live chat. Yes, IR Bog Rolls. Yes, that's right, Hutch. That is right, but I'm going to call him by his normal name tonight, IR Graham. And if anyone doesn't know, well, I'm not going to say it out on air, but that was probably the funniest post I've ever seen on a Discord, and the amount of guys, literally in their thousands, that have jumped on straight away to react to that, it was hilarious. My wife didn't find it that funny, but there you go, didn't expect it. Right, down the Camel Straight we go. Let's come away from that. So they're running quite nicely. Let's have a slightly different view. So Michael is catching Graham. He is catching him. Okay, that's going to develop, no doubt about that. So Bruges hasn't dropped off by 3.7 seconds. Just Michael's quicker, and he's pulled that gap. Will's got the same gap. Then DeWill, Crazy's, Nathbit, and Kevin. Kevin's having a good run there. He's up to 9th at the moment, so he'll be pleased with that in the top 10. Kaga's also moved up to the top 10. He's managed to get that move done on Jinx, so he'll be happy with that. Jinx obviously won't be. Looks like he's definitely got an issue there. As you can see, how's that Lacombe? Yeah. And that car looks a little bit worse for wear, so I'm pretty sure there's been a crash there. Missed that one. We'll see it after the race. Kino's got himself up to 12th. So well done to you, Kino. Keep pushing. You know you've got some pace in that car, unless you're carrying damage. Tomoshu's jumped into the pits from 13th place, so he's getting that pit stop out of the way, tyres and fuel potentially. And then GT Jamie is the first runner that has pitted. He's in 14th, followed by GTJ. So they're quite far away from each other. Then we've got Tro, Reedy. Euphoric State is still in the pits, 3 laps down. Pony Feeder, he's definitely sitting that one out, no doubt. Right, so Michael, how far away? So Graham's going into La Source, and Michael is hot on his heels now. Are we going to be in a position where we can get close enough to make a move before the pit stop? That's going to be the interesting thing to see on that one. Riker, is he still on the same planet, or is he totally out of there? Let's have a guess. Totally out of there by the look of it. So 7.7 seconds clear. And if you look at the delta in the top left, he's consistent, and that's always the key. It's not always about how fast you are in terms of 1 lap pace, 2 lap pace, and then throw it off. It's about having that consistency. Will Friedman in 5th is just over a second behind Bruges now, so I'm going to keep an eye on that as well. In fact, we'll have a look at that one now as he chases him down towards Bruxelles. Crazies is also putting on some pressure. That looks like a nice fight, that one. Oh, DeWill, he's too hot on the brakes there. I think his tyres are on the way. Had no grip through there as we go through No Name. Let's have a look at the back of that Jag. Let's see how she's behaving. However, that was just a nice move by Crazies just to get in his mirrors and make DeWill think a little bit. Nah, these tyres are gone. See how wide he's pushing there. Crazies is able to hold a much tighter line, and he'd obviously had an issue because he had to get out of the way, which is unfortunate. So, Crazies showing his class, slowly making his way up through the field. We've still got 35 minutes left of this race yet. Crazies is a man that I know can make tyres last a long time. Okay, so IR Graham is 8.2 behind. Michael's dropped off, so he may have had an off because Bruges is only 2.1 seconds behind him. So Michael's dropping it into the pits. Okay, so his tyres were probably at the end of their lifespan. So Michael comes into the pits, into the longest pit lane in the world. That takes about 4 laps just to get to your pit box. So we'll see Michael at the end of the race. So that obviously allows Bruges to move up into the podium place, and Will is hot on his heels, and then his teammate in 6th. So again, the Nissan, one thing I was saying on GT3 Sundays, Gamer Dad and King of the Hills in Triple Motorsport running the Nissans, they were really consistent throughout the season in that Nissan. They were always in the top 10. And obviously that helped them with their overall points finish in terms of the team at the end of the year. And it would appear, if we're looking on form, well, you've got Will Friedman and Crazies in the Nissan, and they're both in the top 10. So maybe the Nissan is just a consistent car. But yeah, DeWill's in 7th place at the moment, Nafbit 8th, and Kevin, he's in 9th place. Well, he won't be 9th, he'll be 8th because Michael's gone into the pits, and Kino is currently in the top 10. So those guys haven't pitted yet, so we'll take Michael out of the equation. So the top 9 haven't pitted, and then we've got GT Jamie. So again, it's going to be interesting to see where these guys will shake out. Jinx is in the pits as well, and there's Michael sat there enjoying himself. So just going to keep an eye on GT Jamie, as he was the first guy to pit, just to see where he comes out. Again, you've got to look at strategies in these races, because at the end of the day, if he's been running the last 8-9 laps, so let's say he did an earlier stop in clear air and he's been really consistent, then he might put himself in a good position. It looks like Michael's out of the pits. Yeah, he's just coming out of the pit lane now. and GT Jamie's on his way down to Rouge. So GT Jamie isn't millions of miles away off the pace. I think he'll be quite happy with that. That should shake out in his favour a little bit when the others come in and pit. Riker's come into the pits now from the lead, so he's decided enough is enough. He wants to change of tyres. Again, we're looking 32 minutes left to go, so a lot of people seem to be doing that half-half split, as does IR Graham comes into the pit. So that means Bruges is going to take the lead of the race, closely followed by Will. And Will is a man who can make tyres last. Always. JR says Raki running well at the front. Yeah, he is. He is, JR. He's running very well. Very consistent. Good pace. Haven't seen a single mistake out of him yet. Don't say yet as in I'm expecting one, but you know what I mean. So Graham's in the pits. Crazy's just dumped it in the pits. DeWill's followed him in. Nafbit's followed him in. And Kevin's also just coming into the pit. So Bruges looks like he's got to make a decision. Is he going to run long? I think Will definitely is going to run long. Keno's got himself a drive-through as he comes into the pits. So that's unfortunate for him because he's got to do his drive-through and then he's going to have to go back round and come and pit again. That was obviously track limits there. I think Will's going to go long in this race, guys. I think he wants to show us how that is done. So Michael's in 10th. He's the first runner of everyone that has pitted. Where's Ryko? There he is. Where's Graham? Graham's in the pits as well. Okay, so I'm going to keep an eye on that. So Tro just goes through your picture there. So Michael's coming up to the bus stop now. Ryko is just finishing his stop. He's just getting rolling. So Michael's coming up to the source. Well, remember it's probably 10. It was probably 10 odd second lead that Riker had back to Michael. I know it was about 8 seconds to Graham. Graham's just coming out the pits now. Michael's got to be close to this action because there we go. So it's probably going to shake out round about the same, if I'm honest. Riker's going down the Camel Straight. He's going to be wanting to get those tyres warmed up pretty quickly, as is Graham. No one wants any dramas into Lacombe. Straight out of the pits. So Crazy's coming out of the pits now. And Michael is on his way down the Camel Straight. But GT Jamie has got a big run on him there. Look at that, guys. He's moved out to left. Michael went defensive but couldn't do anything about that. So I don't know what the issue is with Michael's car there, but he's definitely lost that place. All I'll say is well done GT Jamie's great opportunistic driving there, and shows even if you do have to pit early if there's an incident, you just got to keep at it. So Michael's got to be really careful with those tyres on this first part of the lap. And did I just see Crazy's lurking there as well? Oh. This is the beauty of it, guys. I said this to you at the start. There are no bad drivers in this split. There are no bad drivers in this split, and it's all bonus. It just shows how good Riker is to be out there on his own with Graham. Remember, Graham only qualified 4th, which I thought was a bit out of character for him, but he's just showing his class and his race pace. Pole sitter Michael. It will come for Michael. He's obviously enthusiastic and keen to get those podiums on board. Nothing wrong with that at all. So Crazy's in 7th. Then we've got DeWill in the Jag. I like that Jag. Nafbit is in 9th, so he's doing pretty well. Kagatacos is in the top 10, which if you remember at the start of the race, I think Kaga was around about sort of 17th. So he's done very well to work his way up the field and get his pit stop done. Kevin is in 11th in the sister Ferrari to Michael, and then GTJ is currently in 12th. He's been fighting a massive battle all race, qualified right up there in the top 5. Had an issue at Rouge and damaged the car, so he has been plugging away since probably lap 2. Excuse me. So, but he's still in there. You've got to be aiming for that top 10. Tro's running 13th. That's a good effort from him so far. He's come up through from the back, as has Timoshu in the Porsche. Timoshu's first outing, remember, guys. So he's doing very well there. Reedy's in 15th. Keno's back in the pit, so I'm assuming he's done his drive-through, although it says he's still got a drive-through, so we'll see how that works itself out. And then Fresh Jinx is currently now all the way down in 17th, but if you remember a couple of laps ago, he'd evidently had quite a big crash because the car looked hideous. So he's got a lot of work to do. And then Euphoric State and Pony Feeder, those two look like they're sitting out. And if they are, hopefully they're watching on the channel. Why not? Closest battles, let's have a look. So GT Jamie is under a second. So Michael's got back ahead of him. I wonder where that happened. Sorry about that, folks. Giving you a run through of everybody, and we missed a move there. So Michael's fought back and taken that position. So after the pit stop, so Bruges is in third and Will is now in fourth place. So Michael's really got some work to do now to get that podium back. Obviously GT Jamie's hoping that he's just going to drag him through up there and that they can work together. You see in the background there, the other Nissan Crazies, he's not out of it. There's a 10-second gap to DeWitt in the Jag, so this is where it's at the moment. Crazies pulling that gap down, so let's keep an eye on that. Crazies is only 2 seconds behind. GT Jamie's 8/10 off the back of Michael. I'm going to keep an eye on those guys. Everything else looks pretty well spaced out, as you can see there, so I'm going to focus on these guys. See how they get on. Featured driver today, as we know, we had a great interview with Will, our French professor. He said about baguettes, not me. Okay, let's have that one on the record. He's doing really well up in fourth place. So GT Jamie's lost a couple of attempts there to Michael. Crazies has lost about a tenth to GT Jamie. So they all look very evenly paced, which is great because the jeopardy is there for any of those guys if a mistake happens. But we want them to bunch up a little bit more, don't we? Just so they're nose to tail. That will be fine. None of them can make a mistake at all. Let's hope they don't. So Bruges. Bruges is doing really well in the Bentley at the moment, as is Riker. Those two teammates are 1 and 3, split by the Merc of Graham. I am not surprised to see Graham sat up there. He's always up at the sharp end of the field. And it's a good job he hit. Do you know what, actually? I don't think, since I've been doing the commentary on GT3 Sundays, or since I was doing the full season in Tacos, have I actually seen a 1-2 yet for a team. So, watch this space. Graham, you've got to stay there. Or do better. So Will's 2 seconds behind Bruges. I don't know, I've got a sneaky, I don't know, I just fancy Will. Bruges is quick though, and that Bentley looks like she's handling very, very well. Michael's four seconds off. I think Michael's too busy having his own battle out. Don't know if there's having an issue with the car. The other thing you've got to think about is when you're coming in to do the pit stop, obviously you can set your tyre strap before the race, but obviously the track temperatures change, the grip levels change on the track as you're racing, and when you're coming in to make your pit stop, obviously you might need to make some adjustments on the fly to those tyre pressures. Now, sometimes you can get that right, which is great. Sometimes you can get that wrong, which we all know if your tyre pressures are not in the window, you're going to struggle, and it will just have a compound effect. If they're not in the right place and you're losing grip, you will lose more grip. They won't suddenly become great, they will get worse. So I'm hoping that isn't the case. He's 1.5 ahead of GT Jamie now, so that's extended by 4/10. So you would have to assume that he's got that sorted. But Crazies is definitely closing GT Jamie up there. He's only 1.6 seconds behind him. Again, they've still got that 10 seconds back to DeWitt. If we look a bit further back, that's alright, my wife's nicked my phone. Damn it, my girlfriend was going to call me then. Yeah, Sheila. Anyway, back to the racing. So, Crazy's Jamie. Michael's pulled 2 seconds now on Jamie. So, you know, on a different way, maybe there's nothing wrong with Michael's tyres and his pace is just there. GT Jamie was pushing like crazy because he was only 8 tenths behind. Thought, this is my chance. This is the chance of me to get into that top 5, and he's pushed his tyres too hard because you can see Crazy's is only 1.5 seconds behind him now. So that may be the case. Let's keep an eye on that delta there, guys. 6 and 7. Drive-through. Kino is just in the pits. He hasn't done a drive-through and he hasn't changed and done his pit stop. So Kino, I don't know if you've had an issue there, but he looks like he's sitting that one out with Euphoric State and Pony Feeder. GTJ is back in 12th. Tro is still currently in 13th place in the Aston. I do like the livery on that Aston. Like that green, looks pretty cool. And then Tomoshu doing a sterling job in your first outing. Tomoshu in 4th place, being nice and consistent. Right, back to these guys. It was 1.5 seconds if you remember, not too long ago. It's now down to 1 second. So I think GT Jamie's got a tyre issue. I think Crazy's can smell a bit of blood and he's just pushing on a little bit. That would be my guess. IR Graham's closed that gap down at the front now. It's 6.4 seconds, 6.2 seconds, sorry. And then Bruges is 10 odd seconds further back. So it doesn't look like Bruges is going to challenge Graham. Maybe you heard what I said about getting a shift on to keep that second place. Well done. Will is 3.5 seconds behind. He can probably, I think Will needs to push on a little bit more just to give Bruges something to think about, because he looks pretty safe at the moment in that 3rd place. Then back to Michael, who's another 2.4 seconds back, chasing him down, and he's really pulled away from Jamie now. He's 3.2 behind, so I think Michael's consistency is helping him out there. As you see, Crazy's absolutely throw it over the top of the hill, 1.2 seconds. So that is the closest battle that we have on track at the moment. We have 20 minutes left of the race, so we're 2/3 of the way through. There's been quite a bit of action going on so far, but things have started to equal, you know, people are sort of gapping each other quite nicely. All pit stops complete apart from Kino. We've got 3, I think, that are sitting the race out at the moment, but I've been impressed with GT Jamie. He's fought well in this race, driving the McLaren. I think the usual suspects in terms of cars are there. As Crazy's got a little bit out of shape there on the outside of No Name on the run down to Puyon. Let's go on board. Let's see what it looks like from his point of view. Let's see what it's like to be on board with a multiple FRL champion. I can feel it. I can feel myself getting better already now. So Tomoshu is there. He's getting blue flagged in front of GT Jamie. Tomoshu, it's your first race. Get out of the way. So he does pull over. That's going to compromise Crazy's line. Oh my word! Did you see that on the radar? Wow, that was millimeters. Crazy's is a very placid guy, but I'm sure something blue might have just come out of his mouth there. Certainly would have mine. So he's half a second down now on GT Jamie. He wants that place. Be great team points for those two. Hard on the anchors, down to first. Watch the brakes, trail that in. See that nice trail there? Put it into second. Okay, he's going to minimise the traction coming out of there then. He's running his traction control on 7 as well. So are we going to get a move into the source? GT Jamie, he hasn't gone to defend. He stayed out wide on the left. Took her in on the power. Nicely held. Move done. So let's just see what it looks like on the run up the hill. You can just see GT Jamie in that left-hand mirror. Barely a lift there. She got a little bit squirrely, but hey, he kept that one. And Will Freeman's got himself a drive-through. Will, unlucky. My guy, my featured driver, I haven't cursed him because I wasn't on with him, but unlucky there. So Will's got to serve a drive-through, which will promote Michael. To be fair, Michael is closing him down anyway. Top 3, no change, no real change in terms of splits either. So Will's going to come in, he's got to do a 10-second drive-through. 10-second drive-through, listen to me. What a numpty. Who's that? Is that IR Graham? No, it's not. Okay. So that's Reedy who was getting out of the way there. So Will's got to come in and do his drive-through, and we know it is the longest pit lane in the world, so he'll be lucky if he's still in the top 10. Be very lucky if he's still in the top 10 after he does that. So I feel for you, Will. Sorry about that, mate, but that's going to promote Michael up to 4th. And then we've got Crazy. So GT Jamie still hanging on in there, but he's 6/10 down now. And I think in a lap's time, that gap will open up quite a bit more. And I think GT Jamie's going to then be hoping for a mistake from somebody in front of him. I do think he's had a tyre issue there from what happened with Michael and how that panned out over the next few laps. So, in terms of the rest of the grid, yeah, look, he's now nearly 2 seconds off the pace. So, that was the closest battle. DeWitt in the Jag is in 8th. Nathbit's doing a solid job there. He's 9th place in the Lexus. Okay, he's, well, you know, he's miles behind in terms of he's not going to be catching DeWitt, but he's doing a solid job there. He's punching in those lap times. 9th place, good solid points finish, touch wood, that stays there. Kaga Tacos, I'm impressed with Kaga. He's worked his way up the field nicely. Is that Jinx that is there? Yeah, so he's coming up to Jinx now. Jinx will be getting blue flagged. Should be getting out the way, really. I'm not saying he should take his foot off the gas, but he should be out the way. Because Kevin is catching them. So Kaga gets that move done, not for position. As he comes into the bus stop, he's quite tight in there, so... Okay, this could be the next battle that materialises, because Kevin looks like he's got a decent bit of pace there. He'll get a bit of a tow down there from Jinx as well into the source. Let's see what happens as Will comes into the pits to serve his drive-through. Trost was still running in 13th place. GTJ is still in 12th. But he's still in there. That's my point, guys. He's still in 12th. Okay? And someone's left the server. So we've got Riker's currently in 1st place still, IR Graham 2nd, Bruges is still in 3rd, there's your podium at the moment. Michael is 4 seconds off the pace from Bruges. There's still an opportunity there, Michael, put your foot down. Graham Crazies is in 5th place. He's doing a sterling job in that Nissan. And then GT Jamie is 2.5 seconds behind. If you didn't see, rewind it or rewatch it back. So probably three or four laps ago, the epic battle between GT Jamie and Michael. Crazies was behind both of them, and I thought Michael's tyres had gone off. And then once that sort of sorted itself out, it became apparent that GT Jamie's tyres had probably gone off, because he dropped back for Michael, and then Crazies closed him down and just pretty much walked past him. So GT Jamie is, I think, hoping that the next 40 minutes go by pretty quickly so he can keep hold of 6th. So we'll keep an eye on that. DeWitt is in 7th in the Jag. What a great run from him at the moment. So he's 7.2 behind Jamie. We'll keep an eye on those doubters. Nathbit is in 8th, so he's gone up a place. Will has come out of the pits in 9th. I said he'd be lucky to be in the top 10, and he is. Look at that, just because Kaga's breathing all over him. So Kaga Tacos, he's in 10th place. He's now got a nice battle, and Kevin's right on him. So here we go. We've got a 3-way battle here. This is going to be a nice one to keep an eye on, considering we've got 13 minutes left. GTJ is still in 12th place. He's being consistent after his issue. Remember, he qualified really high up the grid, had an issue in Eau Rouge, and has been basically just being consistent for the rest of the race, probably carrying damage because he hasn't managed to really make any inroads. Tro's in 13th. Reedy is in 14th place in the Sister Merc, and then we've got Tomoshu. Kevin's got a little bit early on the gas there. He wants to try and get up on the back of these two, but that nearly cost him. He held that well. Excuse me. I'm just trying to implode myself with a quiet sneeze there. And yeah, so Tomoshu is in 15th place, doing really well for his or her first showing, as I don't know that individual at the moment. And then Fresh Jinx in the Lexus is currently 16th. Kino, Euphoric State and Pony Feeder, those three are sitting out. And obviously we're missing I Am Slow, who didn't actually even start the race. Connection issue. It certainly looked like he had some internet issues at the end of qualifying, which is a shame. So I wanted to see how he got on today. But yeah, that's a rundown of the field at the moment. So this is still your closest battle. Kaga, Will and Kevin. So again, it's not just about the points. It's also, you know, you want to be in the top 10, don't you? Yep, tier 1. If you want to split tier 1 into 2 splits, down to 10th, then down to 20. If you want to be in tier 1 of tier 1. Oh, that was really wide. He's pushing hard. Those tyres must also be going slightly. So back at the front, Riker. Have a look at him as he goes up through Rouge. Again, I know I haven't given him a huge amount of airtime this evening, but I don't need to. He's doing his job. He's out there. He's putting those laps in. Relentless pace. Graham is holding second place again, exactly the same. Relentless stuff. He's just pounding in those laps, and he's keeping him a nice 9.5 second gap back to Bruges. I'm impressed with Bruges today. I think Bruges has done very, very well. Currently sitting in third place. He's had good pace. Again, not put a foot wrong. Michael will be probably quite annoyed at the moment, having qualified on the front row and then had an issue which we missed, unfortunately. Ended up back in sort of second and then third, and then pitted, had another issue, ended up sort of 5th or 6th, and has fought his way back up to 4th. So that's a good effort from him to get back up to 4th. I'm sure he's going to be kicking himself about that podium though. And then Crazy's, what a stellar job from him. He's worked his way up to 5th place. If you remember sort of early part of the race, he was sort of a 12th, 11th, 12th place, and he has just quietly gone about his business, just putting in some good laps. Gary Penny, hello Gary Penny, how you doing in the live chat? Yeah, so it's all going pretty well for those guys. Kagatacos has probably made up the most space, I would suggest, in terms of places. I think he was 17th, he's moved his way up to 10th. And poor old Will, oh no. Again, Will, I wasn't on you at the time, so I didn't curse you. Will was our featured driver this week. Just had a drive-through penalty which he's served, and it looks like he's just got himself slightly out of shape through a Rouge and Rayon, and well, you don't want to do that, do you? It's not going to end well. So Kagatacos has moved up to 9th place now. GTJ, he's got himself up to 10th, so he's got to be happy with that. He's got himself a little bit of self-respect back after that issue, getting into the top 10. Well done, GTJ. And then Will, Kevin. Where's Kevin? So Kevin's had some issues as well. Maybe they had an issue together there, because he's 4.5 seconds back from Will. So maybe those two had a little coming together, figuratively speaking. And then we've got Tro, Reedy, Tomoshu. There's no change there at the back. So, closest battle, Michael's trying to put a squeeze on. He's gone from 2.5 seconds behind Bruges to 1.8. 9 minutes left of the race. If there was a time to do it now, if he can pull that under 1.5 seconds fairly quickly, Bruges is going to start getting worried. That's the closest battle that I've got on track. I think that's the one we all want to see. So let's go on board and let's have a look at it. As we go through Lacombe. Squeeze on the power. Bruges got a little bit out of shape there over that curb. See if he goes deep. No, Bruges is nice and tight through there. Michael follows that line. Drop it into second, Mike. Go. As we come up to No Name. On the power. See the corrections there. He's getting a little bit of understeer. Gary Penny, what does VOH mean, my friend? I don't know what that means. Let me know in the live chat as we're watching Michael. As they go through campus. I know he's holding on for dear life there. I know it because I drive that car. Squeezer on. Okay, so what's the gap? 1.2 seconds. So I did say if he could get it under 1.5. So Michael's taken 8 tenths out of him so far. sorry, 7 tenths out of him so far on this lap. It's 1.1. Michael must be listening. He wants that podium. We've got to stay on this one, guys. We can't really come off it. It's the closest battle. It is for the podium. It's under a second. Patient on the throttle and go. So Bruges, now different mindset completely. As we said before, Bruges has been pumping in those laps really consistently. Didn't look like there was any issues there because Mike was about 4 seconds behind at one point, and he's obviously slowly reeled him in. And now Bruges is thinking, okay, I've got 7 laps to go. That's 7 laps, 7 minutes to go. So what's that? 1, 2, 3, 3.5 laps. So maybe 4 laps left. Michael's closing him down massively each lap. Oh, he's probably going to get a warning for that one. That was quite a cut. That's obviously given Bruges probably a couple of tenths. Let's change view. Let's just have a look at the other splits. Whilst we keep an eye on this into Coops. Who are they coming up there? Is that Tro in front of them? Maybe it is. It was a green car. So everybody else is gapped. So we're not going to come off this one. No, that's a Porsche. So that's either Kaga or it's not Tomoshu. So it must be Kaga. We know Kaga's running his own race at the moment, but Kaga's got a big gap back to Tro of 11.8 seconds, so he shouldn't be too worried about getting out of the way of these two. That's it, see, drops into third, then get on the power. Now you can punch it, keep it tight. Bruges is taking a bit of a toe there probably, but so blue flag's waving for Kaga to get out of the way into Stavolo. Kaga does get out of the way, but we saw this earlier on. Go, go, go. That was wise. Okay, so back markers out the way. These two can get on with their battle. You've got to love seeing a close battle at this stage of the race. 5 minutes to go, and it's for the podium. Both of these two won't want to lose that podium really. 8 tenths now. That looks closer. Michael's looks like he's getting on the. He's using the brakes better there. Certainly through the bus stop, it looks that way. As they come into La Source. Yeah, Bruges looked like he had a bit of an issue there. Maybe a little bit of an oversteer, so he's obviously getting on the power pretty early. We'll have a look at, you know what, let's have a look on board with Bruges. Let's look at his inputs. As we go through a Rouge, let's have a look at that. So he's running traction on 3. Just keep an eye on the mirror. You can see Michael there, top left-hand corner. Again, they're very deceiving. Michael's going, just showing his nose. He's trying to make Bruges go deep into Coops. It's a very awkward little set of corners. Obviously interconnected, but there's not that much space between them. So in terms of distance, so if your line's wrong on one, a bit of oversteer there. Bruges is getting a bit untidy at the moment. He's definitely feeling that pressure. I'd love to know what his tyre readings are saying, but we don't get access to that unfortunately, as he runs wide there out of no name on the way down to Pouhon. This will test him on the brakes. Is he going to go 3rd or 4th? He goes 4th and literally throws her in. You can see how close Michael is behind at 0.2. So guys, there is going to be a move here somewhere as we come into campus. He goes down to 2nd gear. You can see again, keep your eye top left. Michael is right there. He's pulled a couple of attempts on him there though, Bruce, who's obviously had a better run, or Michael's running in the dirty air and can't stay close enough to him as they're going through Stavro. And onto the back straight of Blanchimont. Half a second separates them. Now 4 tenths. So Michael's going to get a bit of a slip. Riker's still out in the lead. Graham is still 2nd. Crazies is still 5th, so these two are in the middle of all that as we come up to the bus stop. He gets hard on the brakes. Michael's going for a move. He is outside. Bruges has broke himself. He's trying to cut back. Michael manages to get him round the outside. Michael gets that move done. What a move. That was awesome. Bruges is not going to be too happy about that. Whether it was a tyre issue or just outbroke himself, he's going to look to make amends as they come into La Source. We've got 2 minutes 21 seconds left to go, so we've got this lap and one other potentially as they come down to Eau Rouge. Is Bruges gonna be able to mount an attack on Michael? Michael's pulled 7/10 already. I think if Michael could get through the first half of this lap cleanly, they'd be alright. Onto the brakes, into Lacombe. Oh. 1.1 seconds now. Michael's extending that slightly. It's difficult to see where he is stronger. Now, I mean, I know the flaws of the Ferrari around this track intimately, so I know where mistake could definitely happen for Michael, which is probably what happened earlier. Snap of oversteer there for Bruges, as you saw on the steering wheel, soaring at it to the right hand side there. As we come up towards campus, I don't think it's going to change. So Rijker's out in front doing what he needs to do. It's been an absolutely amazing drive from him so far. Graham's still in second place, so Michael's got himself back up onto the podium. Bruges is still only a second behind him, so maybe Bruges can utilise some tow at the moment. Try and put some pressure on. Crazy's a great drive at the moment. He's up to 5th place. Rijker comes on to the final lap. So Bruges knows he needs to do something pretty special, because a second doesn't seem like a lot, but we all know it's a hell of a lot. It does give the guy in front, especially in the GT3 cars, does give the guy in front some breathing space. GT Jamie is still in 7th place. He's lost that place to DeWill. You know, earlier on we said he was 7 seconds behind. Well, obviously they have swapped over, so GT Jamie's definitely either got damage or a tyre issue there. Nafbit is now currently up into 8th place, so well done him. He's having a good race. And GTJ, he's not 12th, he's worked his way up to 9th, so well done. And Kevin is currently 10th in the top 10, so Kaga's lost the spot there. We'll see what happens. So as they come over a Rouge, Michael and Bruges Bruges through Eau Rouge, they survived that one, so that's good. So hopefully they're going to get through the rest of this lap. I don't think anything's going to change. 1.8 seconds. That is some very good pace from Michael to get that done. So further down the field, so Will is obviously a couple of laps down, had his drive through. Until that point, Will was definitely a contender for driver of the day. He'd worked his way up the field really well, and then got himself a drive through, which was unfortunate, and that kind of ruined his race really. Tomoshu still going, well done. Let's go on with Reika. Can't see there being any changes now, so we're going to stay on board with Reika and watch him complete this lap. Yes, Georgie, Michael's P3, yeah, he's done well to get back to that. As Reika comes through Blanchimont for the last time, up towards the bus stop, hard on the anchors under there. There we go, so last turn, and Reika comes to take the win. You've got to give him a round of applause. That was a great drive. Well done, Reika. That was an excellent drive, buddy. And then Graham comes across the line to take second place. Graham did not let up there, did he? He kept the pressure on for the entire race, but there was nothing he could do about that pace on Reika. I mean, I think, guys, we've got a new long-term challenger. And let's not forget, Michael comes home in third to take the final podium position. Well done, Michael. That was a great effort to get back to third place. Bruges takes fourth place. That's so unlucky, mate. Great drive, really consistent drive there. Just didn't quite have the pace to hold him off. Crazy's a very, very well-earned fifth place. And then we've got DeVille in the Jag. He's going to come across in sixth. GT Jamie, you know what? GT Jamie's worked really hard to keep hold of that. Traction says prediction was close. 2 out of 3 ain't bad, like Meatloaf said. Yes, that's very true, mate. Congrats to the podium. Yeah, I totally agree. GT Jamie crosses in 7th place. Nafbit, he's just about to cross the line in 8th. And GTJ, you know what? He will be happy with that finish. He's been battling away probably for 58 minutes, I reckon, when he had that issue at the very beginning, and he's managed to get himself back up to 9th. So that is more than respectable, GTJ. Well done. Kagatacos, he's finished in the pits. Tro's finished. Reedy's finished. And Will's finished. So Kevin brings up 10th place. And there we go, guys. Tomoshu is still going. I'm sure Tomoshu will finish, as will Jinx. Kino in 17th. He didn't finish the race, obviously got a drive through and then well, I don't know, had an issue and stayed in the pits. Euphoric State, even though I got the name right, something happened with him, so he spent 17 laps in the pits. And Pony Feeder also had an issue there, so he didn't finish. But I Am Slow, I think, had an actual disconnect at the beginning, which was unfortunate for him, as he qualified up at the top end of the field. So that runs through that, guys. Race complete. That is round 2 of Taco Tuesdays complete. I hope you've enjoyed that. I did. I hope it's sort of whet your appetite for the rest of the season, because as I said before, there are no slow drivers in this tier. These boys are going to be fighting all year long. Congratulations again to the podium. To Reka, to Graham and to Michael. Unlucky Bruges, that was really unlucky, mate. So that's it for this week. We will be back next week, of course, for round 3. 1 second, let me just check on there. We'll put those stand-ins through shortly. So next week we've got a beautiful track that I'm sure everybody will love. It's Zolder, and again, it will favour the Bentley, I feel. The Bentley's very quick round Zolder, but I know that the Ferrari is also quick round there, as is the Porsche, as is the Nissan, as is probably the Jag, and so too the McLaren and Lexus. Well, basically all of them. So next week is going to be another very hard-fought racing event. So listen, that's it from me for tonight. If you liked it, drop a like, put a comment in there. Subscribe if you haven't. We're going to be doing lots of comms going forward. It's exciting. There's lots of things in the sort of planning book that's going to come out, so have a look at that. So from me, have a good evening everybody, and I will see you all next week. Comms by Coops.